What's up everybody, KICKSTARTER here and welcome back. You guys, today is gonna be a good one. One of the first people to reach out to me to have me review a deck for them was my good friend Nick Nisco. At this point, if you guys have been subscribed for a while or follow me on Instagram, you already know Nick and I have worked together on a bunch of projects. We're currently working together on projects. We stay in touch. Nick is just a really good friend of mine. So a couple of years ago, Nick was releasing his first deck on Kickstarter, and that was the Elemental Playing Cards Hydrogen deck. Just to keep a long story short, Nick reached out to me, wanted me to review the prototype and maybe see if I could help him promote the Kickstarter. At that point, there was very few offers like that coming to me. So of course I obliged, I couldn't wait to do it, and I did. Now, ever since then, it's been kind of a tradition that every time Nick is releasing a new Elemental Playing Cards deck, usually a prototype will land across my deck and I get to review it for you guys. And such is the case for today, but it's so special because not only are we going to be taking a look at the new Elemental Playing Cards deck, which is great, we're actually taking a look at the V2 for the first Elemental Playing Cards deck, and that was the Hydrogen deck. So I'm really excited to do this. Today we are going to be taking a look at the new Hydrogen V2 Deuterium Isotope Edition. This deck is everything we loved about the first one, but so much more. And since this is a prototype, I can't be putting it in the giveaway brick, but stay tuned to the end because I have a little surprise for you guys. All that and more coming up, but before we get into it, please do drop a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And without further ado, let's roll that intro and get you guys on your way.
Let's go.
Okay, so some of you have probably already seen this deck on Kickstarter and or backed this deck on Kickstarter. So let me just start by saying this deck is available right now on Kickstarter. So if you like it already, go visit the link in my description, back the project, then come back here and watch the review. Also, spoiler alert, if you have seen the campaign already, there's two decks. There's two decks for this campaign, just like with the last campaign, only pinker. I don't have a prototype for the special edition Hydrogen V2, but Nick was kind enough to provide us with a render, so let me go ahead and flash that now. Needless to say, I'm pretty stoked. Look at that color. If you guys want more information on that deck, go check out the campaign. Since I don't have it, I don't want to be reviewing it too much here. But I do have the Hydrogen V2 Deuterium Isotope Edition, and I'm real stoked about it. So this is technically the fifth installment in the Elemental Playing Card series. There was the Hydrogen V1, then there was Oxygen, then there was the Carbon Decks, which was a collaboration project from Nick and Luke Wadey. So obviously my favorite project to date. But I will say I really do like this deck and I'm super excited to get into the specifics. So let's take a look. Following standard Elemental Playing Cards procedure here, you can see the box is kind of the periodic table representation of the element, which is really cool. This actually looks very, very similar to the Hydrogen V1 deck, only this one is done in gray. Hopefully that's coming across on camera. This is actually a light gray box, which separates it from the V1, but as well, it says Hydrogen in the middle, it has that circle, it says Elemental Playing Cards on both sides with those little atoms. And then the other difference can be found on the back of the box where it says Deuterium Isotope. Which I think is just another state that hydrogen can be in, or when it's merged with other elements. I don't know. I should have asked Nick. Maybe I will. The top of the deck just says Hydrogen. You're gonna get your classic ad copy on the bottom. And of course, one of my favorite things, something that I've grown to love from Nick's decks in general, this includes slow hands, is we get to put little fun quotes on the inside. This is a quote from Carl Sagan, which only makes sense because that was the quote from the first deck. And the quote is the exact same, stating, "We are an example of what hydrogen atoms can do given 15 billion years of cosmic evolution." Thank you, Carl. As always, very insightful. All right, so that's gonna do it for the box, but I can't wait to take a look at the cards. All right, your back design looks like this. As you can see, it's very good looking. It's done in black and white, which is also reminiscent of the very first hydrogen deck. It's also got these little tiny red accents, which I really think helps sell this as a very well thought out and complete design. You can see those little red specks where it says hydrogen and that little atom, and I think that looks really good. As well, there's some noticeable differences between this deck and the V1, being that the design is completely different. You can see that the back pattern in the top corners is made up of 2s and H's, so 2 hydrogens together, I believe, is the Deuterium Isotope, which if that's the case, what a brilliant idea. And just to talk about what everybody's gonna be talking about, this also has a broken border in it, which makes for insane fan work. So this design, I would say really lends itself to Magic or cardistry. Just a really nice looking deck, and honestly, this back design is sick. I do like it more than the Hydrogen V1, for sure. Also, I wanna give Nick credit. Him and Luke actually deserve credit for this, but they always use the coolest typefaces. You know, they always look standard, but like a little bit past standards where it looks like they were intentionally there, and I love that. Typical elemental playing cards Ace of Spades formula, which means it looks fantastic. So you get this enlarged spade pip, really good shape. You have the hydrogen atom inside of the Ace of Spades, and then of course you get the atomic weight and proper name for the element there at the bottom. This looks really, really good. I kind of knew it would. They always do. Nice. You are going to get two jokers that are not identical, but you can use them for like a linking rings magic effect, which I also love. I said this when I saw the designs for the first jokers. This honestly is probably one of the coolest concepts I've seen. Basically, to represent the atoms, we have two hands holding linking rings, and when they link, it makes the isotope. Look, this is just smart. It's super genius. I love these jokers. They're hand drawn. I love everything about them. Nick, if you're watching this, now you know. In terms of ad cards and gaff cards, you'll have to check out the campaign, but one of the ad cards is going to be some information about the isotope. So that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and read this since I'm completely ignorant to the periodic table. Any of two or more forms of a chemical element that contain equal numbers of protons but different numbers of neutrons in their nuclei, and hence differ in relative atomic mass but not chemical properties, in particular a radioactive form of an element. Honestly, just that last sentence made sense to me, but what I like about that, this is basically a radioactive form of hydrogen. Think of it that way, and that makes this deck like 10 times cooler than it already was. Now, in terms of your faces, you guys are gonna recognize these faces. They are mostly bicycle standard, but they have the Nisco treatment on the courts. So you're gonna see the spades look like spades, right? The diamonds look like diamonds, the hearts look like hearts, the schnozberries look like schnozberries. But you do get that wonderful kind of classic Dan and Dave looking custom on the court cards. You can see that the yellows are a little bit darker, the reds are a little bit darker. Just the color combination, the black instead of blue, just looks so good. It definitely reminds me of the court cards off of the Dan and Dave, like the early Smoke and Mirrors decks, kind of have that same kind of custom, and it looks so good. As well, you can see like little Easter eggs, like the Elemental Playing Cards logo and the name of the deck hidden inside of these courts, which I also really like. It just gives you that little extra something to look for. I think anymore, the goal of a deck is to keep it in someone's hand for like more than 10 minutes, because there's so many decks coming out these days that as soon as one comes out, you pick it up, you shuffle it, it goes on your shelf, you never see it again. So anything you can do to make people look at it a little bit longer and appreciate it a little bit more, I think helps. And for me, I think court cards really do that. You also get some reveals, like the Queen of Spades here has a Two of Hearts reveal. That's something we saw in the V1. Super usable for Magic, very Magic friendly, and I like that. Cards obviously look really cool in a fan because of that broken border. I really do like that as well. Again, it just makes it a little bit more interesting. This is a prototype, which means it was printed at MPC. The quality of MPC is actually pretty good. It's not that bad, so you can check out the intro trailer if you want to see these bad boys in action. But the actual cards are going to be printed by the United States Playing Card Company on classic stock. So they're going to feel like the Slow Hands V2, which in my opinion, my totally biased opinion, but even if I wasn't, those are really like the best handling cards. They last a long time, they're not too thick, they're not too thin. I do like MPC's paper stock actually. The problem is it's too thick. Like I've taken out the jokers and the ad card and the cards are still like stiff, but they feel nice otherwise. Very slippery. Well guys, there is your look at the new Hydrogen V2 playing cards, the Deuterium Isotope by Nick Nisco. Like I said guys, this Kickstarter is live now. In fact, the link is in my description, so if you want to go check it out, browse around, I would highly recommend it. I've already gone on there, I've already made my pledge. I'm super excited to get these decks in for real and update you guys on how I like them. Of course, Nick is not only a good friend of mine, but he's also a good friend to the community. So if you guys want to know how you can support smaller creators in the community like myself and like Nick, it all starts with things like Kickstarter and liking this video. So make sure you do both, but do go check it out. It's definitely worth it. Also, and I completely forgot to mention this, I know I promised you guys a surprise for the end of this video, so here's what we're gonna do. Since I don't have another hydrogen V2 prototype to add to the giveaway brick, I am going to be adding one of the sold out hydrogen V1 decks, the sold out oxygen decks, and as well one of each of the carbon decks. That is the graphite and the diamond edition designed by Nick and Luke. 4 more to fill up the giveaway brick, and I will be picking a winner at 10K. So if you guys are interested, make sure that you get me to 10K. I really appreciate it. Thank you all. And of course, if you did find this video helpful on your decision to buy the deck, or if you just liked watching me talk, it really would mean a lot if you would drop a like on the video, and I hope you'll consider subscribing for more awesome content just like this. Big thank you to Nick for sending me a prototype of this deck. Buddy, I am actually super stoked about this one, so I know it's gonna do well. It's probably funded by now already. And thank you all for watching this video. It means so much. With all that being said, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day. I know I will. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Goes by so fast, and every moment counts, baby. I don't wanna miss a thing. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, or hang out in hotel bars, driving somewhere in your car. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars.